I'm your host, David Cameo, and we are Squawking Dead, a podcast pulverizing episodes of the Walking Dead universe. And before we continue with this interview with Julie from Georgia Tour Company, I'd like you to head over to ratethispodcast.com/squawkingdead. Leave us 5 stars and eggplant. It's all we need to know that you love us. But let us know what you liked, let us know what you didn't like, and let us know after every episode. And without further ado, here's Bridget.
I know.
Part of the bloopers reel in front.
All right, so everyone, we're here at Georgia Tour Company with Julie.
Hello.
And so, Julie, I want to give you an opportunity to kind of tell us about all of the different tours that you offer here at Georgia Tour Company.
Well, we started back in 2014 with our walking tour. I actually opened, so I'll go back a little bit further. I opened store in 2012, and it was called the Georgia Mercantile Company initially. I opened in April of that year, April 14th to be exact, and I was across the street. The week that I opened, I carried local, like artsy jams and jellies, you know, things like that. The week I opened the door, the location manager, Mike Riley, came in the door and said, "Hi, I'm from this little show called The Walking Dead. Are you familiar with it?" I was like, "Oh, zombies, okay, that's interesting in Senoia." Sure. And he said, "We're going to close down your main street in June and start filming." And this was for the season 3 Woodbury filming. Throughout that summer, they came in, said, you know, fans are going to start coming here. You really want to, you know, bring in some merchandise for the fans from The Walking Dead. And I'm like, "Hey, I sell jams and jellies. You want some zombie blood jelly? Okay, we'll see what we can do." So later that year, I created a shirt, "I Walk with the Dead" in Senoia, Georgia. Put a county map up on my wall because people were asking for locations. They wanted to know, you know, where was the governor's apartment, which at that time was upstairs from my location. So for the first couple of years that we were in business as Georgia Mercantile Company, we basically just kind of gave that information, you know, that we knew of, which was right here in town. This was Woodbury on our main street. But then I moved away from that location down across the railroad tracks just outside the gates of Alexandria. And at that point, I had people knocking on the door going, "Who's Julie? We want to know where everything is." And apparently Julie knows where all these locations are because you have this map, this county map. So at that point, we started a walking tour. And we've been doing walking tours since 2014. So, yeah, 8 years out here on the road. In 2016, we started a bus tour. Our bus tour at that point was an interactive, had a lot of stunt actors involved. In 2019, we discontinued that because we just kept hearing from the fan base, we want to see more locations. So we added, at that time, we had about 4 or 5 locations that we were visiting, exclusive access. And then the pandemic hit. So while the pandemic was going on, we were researching all the locations that we could possibly obtain as exclusive locations. So now we have 2 days full of visiting these locations. So 2 mobile tours. One goes west side locations, about a 50-mile radius, and then the next one goes the east side location, again, about a 50-mile radius. And we just have a blast. I have a great team, Wendy and Derek, that take the folks out on our bus tours. And then we have a team of guides here in town that do the walking tours, up to 4, 5, 6 tours a day. So we're expecting to be really busy this year. So.
Yeah, I believe it. I've had the pleasure of doing both the walking tour and locations east, I think is what we did. West? I don't remember, but I've had
satellites. So that was the west.
That was west. Yeah. So I've had the joy of going on those. Do you mind sharing a couple of the exclusive locations that you have for both east and west?
No, on our west tour, so the satellites, which was the Savior's Outpost, that's where they brought in the heads that were Gregory's heads. So Jeremy Palco was, as Andy, was part of that crew. That is the very first location that we obtained access to. So we're the only tour company that gets to go on the grounds there. And you get to walk around and explore the magnificent satellites. I mean, they're just absolutely huge.
They're incredible.
In fact, just as an sidebar here, Discovery Channel just aired an episode this past Tuesday, I believe it was, Thursday night. Abandon is the name of it. I didn't have this in mind before now.
The special's called Mysteries of the Abandoned.
But it tells the history of those satellites, so it's very cool if you want to go see that.
That's cool.
So the satellite locations we visit, Elders Mill just sold. So there's a new owner there, and he loves to see us come in there. So you get to go down into the actual mill area where they have the campfire. Hogansville, Beta's kind of bar area. We go in there. So those are some of the west side locations. Over on the east side, we have the Tornado Barn. And that one is really fun to go into. There's a lot of snake activity going on right now, so they have to, watch their footing out there. We have a couple of cabins that we visit from the early seasons 3 and 4, where the governor visited, and also where the helicopter went down. We go to Rick's Bridge, which everybody loves to see Rick's Bridge. And, that's not an exclusive location because everybody can visit it. But, it is definitely, we do visit a lot of locations that you can see. But, they're along our travel, so we want to make sure everybody gets to see everything.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was very cool to be able to stop and go into the outpost, which we're really I know excited normally you just take a picture from the fence line, so that was very cool. Yeah. And I know you include lunch often at a special spot in the area, which it was very fun as well. Yeah. So the tours are great. Highly recommend. Yeah, so
we enjoy what we do. I mean, our slogan is, we live it, so you'll love it.
Oh.
So, yeah. Don't you cry. She said she was going to cry on me today.
I haven't yet. I asked this of some other people in the area because now that the walls are going to come down, do you think that you're going to have access into that main area? Or are you looking to take your tours down that way?
Yeah. So we will see what is to come when the walls do come down. And my expectation, so this is not anything official, we go by, what the local papers are reporting as well, is that the walls will start coming down after this weekend. I think they wanted, because they took the covering off the signage down there for the Commonwealth, the 22 outpost. So I think that they wanted to give the fans that were here for this weekend one last look at that, and then I think they'll probably start deconstructing the walls. Everything inside has been deconstructed. The windmill came down in about 2 days. It was like, wow, it's gone. But as far as what we will do, as long as it's open public roads, we started out walking through there, and then they put the walls up. So we do expect to do that as well. You'll get to see the houses.
Fear's shooting location is moving to Savannah, Georgia. We had World Beyond filmed in Virginia, Tales filmed kind of in the area.
Right.
Do you see yourself expanding your tours to other locations or different shows are you going to be covering?
Well, definitely different shows. So Stranger Things, big plus for this weekend. And I don't want to hear any spoilers. I haven't been able to watch it yet because it has been so busy this weekend, but I'm planning on binging it tomorrow. We actually did start a Stranger Things tour. We've been out on that tour a few times. One of the opportunities, because I never say there's an issue with anything. There's no issues in life. They're all opportunities. The locations are really spread out. So we really need to look at how we can do a multiple day tour with that. And I was waiting on this season to start airing so that we could kind of close up some of those gaps in between driving, because there's some locations we're an hour on the road driving in between. So we're going to do some research and get that rolling again real soon. As far as the other Walking Dead universe shows, we'll see what comes into this area. Now, we are, a good 45 miles south of Atlanta, so we do not take our tours into downtown Atlanta. There's just a lot of congestion that we would have to contend with and things that we can't really have control over. So I don't foresee us going, really north unless it's just as a private event type tour. When Tales is in the area. So once those start airing, then we can, do some research there. So we'll see.
Well, I look forward to it personally. Yeah. I'll be back for all those tours. Okay. Are there other tours that you offer as well outside of Walking Dead focus tours?
We talk about fried green tomatoes. There is a fried green tomatoes connection here in town. We can do private tours out that way as, again, another opportunity in life that everybody, the business community, everyone is kind of dealing with at this point is staffing. We are almost back at full capacity for staffing. So as we will roll on a fried green tomatoes tour. We also have a Murder in Coweta County tour that we've done in the past. That's very cool. Oh. If you've never seen that movie, it's about this general area, true story about this general area. It's a time period type movie, so you also have to know that. But it's very, cool.
You brought over a couple of things to share with us. So please tell us about some of the great stuff you have in right now.
Okay. So you can see I'm wearing this shirt. I wanted to highlight this shirt. Our friends that were part of the crew of The Walking Dead. This is the prop department's official final season shirt that we carry exclusively. And I'm going to turn it around here so you can see that it says final season there. And on the back here is their exclusive design. So
the shirt in question is a black t-shirt with white lettering graphics. It's of a skull and crossbones with the letters TWD on top of the skull, and it says final season underneath it. The graphic and lettering on the front are near the left breast area, and on the back is a graphic of two trench knives crossed together. The lettering at the top says Dixon's Disciples. And underneath it, it says MC, prop department on the left and on the right, and the number 11 just underneath. And on the bottom, it says Walking Dead.
These shirts were given out to cast and crew, so there are pictures out on the internet, out on social media of Norman and of Jeffrey Dean wearing these shirts around. So we carry those exclusive in here for the prop department guys, and they were wonderful. So this is Kelly, and Kelly was head prop master. He brought us one of 3 of the Lucille bats from the Here's Negan episode. So this was when Negan found Lucille buried under the tree, the famous tree out there, and had to dig her up. And he was all happy at first and then had to break her over the head of a walker. So he became very sad at that point, and Lucille got burned. But yes, this is hanging here in our store. We have several pieces of actual set deck pieces in here. We have a tricycle, so I know y'all were going to walk around and take a few pictures of those, so y'all will be able to see that as well.
And you do have a chunk of the wall from
Barrington House. So we have a good section of bricks on our floor back here because they're very heavy to pick up and pull around.
It's very cool that you've gotten your hand on so many special pieces. Yeah. I know you've had quite a few people come and do tours and stop by and say hi. Mm-hmm. So why don't you share with us a couple of the people who have come by to visit?
Yesterday on some of our pictures. So if you follow us on social media, on Facebook or our Instagram page, we always post pictures whenever cast members are in town. And here in Senoia, last night we had a great fireworks show, and Lynn Collins and her family joined us.
Lynn Collins played Leah Shaw, Reaper, and also Daryl Dixon's former lover.
They walked by our tours. Lynn is always around town. She comes in. So she walked by and took pictures with our crew yesterday. We've seen dogs. When Norman and Jeffrey Dean were here, we used to see them in their cars all the time up and down Main Street here. They both at the same time bought, these 2 black cars. There was a Camaro and a Charger. I think it was a Charger that he bought. Yeah, and we'd see them coming from a mile away, and they'd wave and check out things. Early days, when they were filming back in 2012, we'd see them on the streets all the time. They would get out and play ball with the kids. It was great.
That's sweet.
They were a lot more accessible then, and as, of course, the show grew, then things got a little bit tighter. But, yeah, we've seen quite a bit out here. Princess, we see Father Gabriel all the time. Seth is awesome. He's still in the area. And just to let you know, maybe it's something you can show here in a little bit. Back there up top are our maps that we started with back in 2015. I got the idea to put these maps up so our guests could pin where they were from. And back here we have a 5x8 foot map of our guests who have toured with us. We've had a visitor from every continent on Earth, including Antarctica. We had a researcher come in on holiday and toured with us. So that's a big thing. They love to hear that at Walking Dead.
Yeah, this says a lot about, one, how impressively expansive the fandom is, but also that you obviously have a great tour company here.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Yes. Do you have any upcoming events you'd like to share with us?
Just that we are expecting the summer, now that summer is officially upon us after this weekend of graduations and school let out, that we are expecting a very, very busy summer. So we don't have any particular events. We just, want to make sure that everybody is able to get in here and see as much as we can. Later in the fall, the town of Senoia, city of Senoia, has some events. We have a car show. We have, different various things that we can just try to be active with. And then, of course, I think fan base is looking forward to October and the show coming back on. So
Yes.
We'll probably plan something around that.
Well, we'll be looking forward to it, and you can get that information. I know that you're on Instagram as Georgia Tour Company, and you're on Facebook as well. Follow the Georgia Tour Company, so you're going to get your updates on what is going on exactly here in Senoia, and specifically at the Georgia Tour Company.
And if you're ever lost, you can always head over to www.georgiatourcompany.com and get at all their social media there.
So I'm going to call out Mara. Mara is one of our former tour guides. She retired and moved to the coast. So we miss her greatly here in town, but she still manages our social media. So we post all day long, all of our tours. I posted the live on the fireworks that was here in town. Just, keeping in touch with us and letting us know what y'all are doing. And we will certainly share y'all back out to our community as well.
Well, will do. Thank you so much, Julie, for meeting with us. We appreciate it. We'll see you soon.
Thank you so much for making it to the end of this interview. And a special thank you to Julie from Georgia Tour Company, and also Bridget, ex-Prophecy Girl on Twitter and Ain't My First Rodeo on Instagram, who contacted, coordinated, and made this interview possible. And as always, if you like what you heard, again, head over to ratethispodcast.com/Squawking Dead and let us know what you think. But more than anything else, if you like what we're doing here on Squawking Dead, create a free account on ko-fi.com and follow us at ko-fi.com/Squawking Dead. When you do that, you're in the know for when we set up a new recording session for either an upcoming episode breakdown or a special interview where you can attend the audience in the real-time chat, ask questions, be a part of the episodes or the interview. You'll also be aware of when we drop our unedited episode recordings or interview recordings, as well as other special video montage projects, getting the raw, high-resolution photos and videos. We don't post this stuff on social media. The only place to get it is at ko-fi.com/Squawking Dead. And if you feel inclined and you're ready to lend us your support, you can always tip us for 30 days of access to our supporter back content, or you can join a membership tier for as little as $1 a month. And one of the perks of joining our upper two tiers, the Whisperers and Survivors tiers, is shoutouts at the end of this podcast. Starting with the Survivors tier, of course, is Bridget. ko-fi.com/Punky Brewster, that's PONKYBRUISETER. Fanart Lindy, ko-fi.com/Fanart Lindy. Jasmine.iac on Instagram, and Eliza Jones at ElizaJones71 on Instagram. And of course, on to our Whisperers tier members, who are Judith.Morton on Instagram, at Aiden_Atkin_ on Instagram, at Tyler Phillip Cox on Instagram and Twitter, at FrostedAngel67 on Twitter, at Sandy.D.Morrison on Facebook, at J13 Voorhees on Instagram and Twitter, and also at ReedisFan2 on Instagram and Twitter. Thank you so much for tuning into this interview, and we'll have more from our time at the camp, the May 2022 event, in just a few. If you missed our interview with Tiffany, manager of the Woodbury Shop and also Peasant Blouse Walker, MTV's 8th hottest walker of 2014, check out the last podcast where we interviewed her. Oh, and hey, did you happen to catch our featurette of the Living with the Walking Dead exhibit at the Museum of the Moving Image? It's only available on YouTube for obvious reasons because it's mostly visual, but it's a great 15-minute teaser into what to expect at the Living with the Walking Dead exhibit at the Museum of the Moving Image. It is an incredible feat that was edited by Thomas O'Mara at Celtic TSO on all the social medias. Huge credit to him for coming with me, filming, taking photographs, and at the end of the day, putting together this whole featurette. So please take advantage of that. And you should already be subscribing to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Squawking Dead. Take care, everybody, and we'll see you in the next one.